Sorry, man, I must be going there for some.
We feel it!
Oh, that's more like it. Thank you guys for turning out. Thank you guys very much for getting down early. Anyway, so we're going to start off the night in a time-honoured, organised rhyme tradition, and that is with our #1 house poet, our man, the head spinner, that is Jack the Tripper.
The time has come. The time has gone. The time keeps ticking on and on. The time is nigh. The time is upon us. The time is neither here or there. The time is everywhere. The time is now. The time is going down. The time is up. What to do with the time is up to you. Thank you.
Yeah!
Right, this next one I like to tell you is a challenge that Phil sent me. Like, last time I went travelling, he told me to write part of the poem every time I changed place. So this is the travel track. Great to be back on the road again. It seems once you start, you get the bug and simply cannot refrain. So this time, when the English rain came, I thought I better jump on a plane and get the hell out of here. This time I chose to fill my cup all the way up with some Portuguese sunshine. Let's begin with Porto. Oh Porto, oh the port is so much sweeter than I ever thought possible. Yet it's still 20% alcohol, a bit like my on-the-road diet. Bread, cheese, beer and wine please, all of these is all I need to accompany the sun, the breeze and the sweet release of jumping in the sea or any of their many gigantic rivers. And when I say gigantic, I mean it. I mean I've literally basked on riverside beaches that have whiter sand than waxen. In this wilderness, you can see many an animal having an amazing time. There's lizards that crawl at lightning speed, offering only the briefest of glances for other animals to advance upon them. And high above, you find eagles soaring in their pairs, soaking up the sun, watching the world as the creatures create cover in flowers that ripple with every type of movement. Movement. It's all about movement. But before I take this journey any further, I must tell you that although you may never have thought it so, all these things I found within an hour's walk of Porto, an incredible city, and it was only the beginning. The further I travelled south through Portugal, I found the people to be just as happy and cheerful as in the north. And just down the coast a little, but a few hours if driven, you find Lisbon. What a place. But just when I thought the rivers couldn't get any bigger, to get into Lisbon, you must cross a river by a 17-kilometre bridge. I mean, that's literally 3 minutes when driven. I don't particularly fancy walking it, but it's a must-see if you want to see this must-see capital city, where every day is a party and everywhere you need to be, everything you need to see is in walking vicinity. As I continued down, I reached the Algarve, which is all amazing. Well, all but thorough. I'll go as far as to say I should have stayed much farther away. Throughout the country, I never had much trouble with the police here. In fact, they were quite helpful at times. The trouble is the GNR, the militia, taking the piss because you look like a drifter. But aside from arrests, I found the best bet for my Algarve experience would be scouring each beach for the ultimate swim, and of course, getting lost in the cause. The party centre in the south has to be Lagos, but of course, if you want to get more off course and off the beaten track, you want to ask for Barranco. This beach community retains its unity even after 40 years of existence. Good times are had and upheld with persistence, particularly when the acid comes raining down, raining over every thought. Well, I could have been caught there for a lifetime. All good things must come to an end, but only to be replaced by the best intentions. So now need I mention, the adventure only grew thicker, and the regularity of the partying grew quicker when I set off to Barral. A marketplace, a totally ace society which provides for all who come and camp inside, outside, or even upside down. The village people not only know the essence of turning around frowns, but see actively doing so as an essential means of daily life. Open mic once a week and open jamming twice a day, from dawn till dusk and dusk till dawn. Woo! As much as Georgie Boy's second mother wished for me to stay another week or year, I had to set my course for the second saga, which for me, of course, had to be España. So back to Spain again, better head to Andalusia, and to maintain the community spirit, I thought I'd hit up Beneficia, another hive of activity, thriving with life of many a kind. They got non-stop drumming around the never-ending fire in the big lodge, natural buildings made from wood to cardboard, to the clay that lay in the ground beneath our feet, complete with ayahuasca ceremonies weekly and seemingly unlimited supplies of trees just to keep the fire alive. And how could I forget? When you're in Andalusia, you're in tapas territory, and like to eat with every beer you buy. I mean, you don't have to think about dinner so long as you have at least 4 beers a day, which just as happens to prove to be a perfect way to meet new peers. Besides living the community life, I brought my thoughts back to where lessons are taught. Down here on the farm, I not only learned sustainability and the many abilities that accompany daily life, but also Tai Chi, the mighty martial art of letting unnecessary thoughts depart. You see, it more than a form of self-defense, it's more than meditation, it's a combination of both, an individual elevation. Breathe not only the air, but the chi that floats between the layers. Become a spiritual player that floats, and you'll find that prana is your lifelong partner, flowing through every move. I know that everything I do is what was truly meant to happen. Perhaps you may think differently, but perhaps you would breathe and chi in a different vicinity to me. Every step I take is a step in the direction of the next path I make my way of life. And so I follow my feet back to the city where the very first bit of me was born. Though I've torn away, I cannot stray too far away from my home of knowledge. I mean, the world's not big enough to get homesick. Perhaps I'll understand the feeling when I make the grand leap to ascension. But we'll put this comprehension aside and ride through this world day by day in search of what is always on offer. Opportunity. Yeah!
That's what I'm talking about!
Alright, okay, hold on then. Sometimes I debate, psychedelically altering the state of my sanity indefinitely to ultimately set me free from reality. But it is clear to see that this would be acting selfishly. And I don't want to hurt any member of humanity, especially not my friends and family. I need to grow up before I blow up. I need to accept the fact that we all get hurled into this crazy, cruel world. There's no point staying curled up in a ball, waiting to fall when so much more lies ahead. I need to clear my head of this madness and avoid an aftermath of sadness. I will be glad when this insane punishment passes. I'll welcome the subsequent release from shrouded judgment into a new kind of peace of mind. And so I guess it must be time to find a momentous answer. So if you're a dancer, then why not prance away from the mad trance? Or if you prefer to sing, then you could use your voice to bring back the happiness. Or if you only feel capable of less, you could best the mess by merely tapping a beat to defeat the crazy monotony. As for me, I like to whistle away my worries in a flurry of tune that soon sets in motion the flip side of motion. Always look on the bright side of life. Exercise your mind till it is sharp as a knife. Cut straight through depression in no less than a second with no second thoughts. No, don't get caught in limbo. We don't want to go to and fro. We want to get the whole way out of the hole. So roll up, roll up. If you want sublime feelings to erupt abruptly, then come and see me for a free degree in how to be eternally happy. Don't worry, be happy. And on to
I've never done this before, you know. I've played instruments in front of people, but not really said poems, you know. Anyway, so, I'm not too nervous. It might be to do with the fact that me and Marshy had... We went to get 2-for-1 cocktails, and they gave us 2 cocktails each, so... That kind of helps to lubricate the minds. So this first one is about... Yeah, I'm not even going to explain it. Every conversation seems to me to form a massive symphony. Both dissonance and harmony are innate in certain words we speak, and gestures in the bodies and movements in our vocal tones are expressive and melodic. The words which flow will dance and glow, and though they've been described sometimes, it passes by unknown. Thus this sweet strong semblance grows and grows and grows, a restless endless masterpiece, mustered from the mind, of some unknown genius, whose beating makes us laugh and cry. And although someday we will die and our improv section ends, the composition stays alive and never loses what we lent. For the most awesome aspect of this writhing jive is that all causes all, and so outlasts the flow of time. So backwards we can fly, right into the past, and listen to the melodies made by players past. Away from this world stage, we propagate their flame by playing them on stages and radios by the DJs. Then this showing of their souls spreads throughout the globe, influences artists, gives the writers words to throw. And right now in this bar, the symphony's alive. Every single second contains the whole inside. Yeah, I've got one more, because this is really long, you know. I wrote this actually after I heard Root's Maneuver line, where in a tune he did with Cinematic Orchestra, he says, what does he say again? How many more years before we practice what we preach? Yeah? So anyway, I get this feeling in my bones when I come in from the cold. After wandering east of Eden, evicted from what I knew as home, its warmness wheels a thawing force upon the dormant central source, which waking informs my mental course that we always tend towards, recreating reals from reality received, repackaged and renamed into things that get believed, as meaning passively perceived, and redresses this vacant dream. It's so deeply sewn into the seams that we never see, that they go to supplement the schemes under the shadows and snarling, glaring eyes of which we try to be. In this wild tangent tide, I justify the times I've cried, or rejoiced, ran or tried to hide, by what I call my life. Within a world that's overarched by mad abstract ideas, but the body is the start, and it's all that really could be here. Still so many stay slave to the ferment of the coming years. It's a bitter beer, compounded of a future filled with fear, and some slight fun, and blood and sweat and tears, and maybe kingdom come. After all the work that's done, concludes the rabid run, that charming chasing of the sun, which defines this brief age. The fancy's dress, which gets placed on the meaning of this race. Guess it all goes on to lace this life with a better taste than the nothingness which lay in wait beneath the shifting scenes. The ground on which we stand, you see, has nothing underneath. So what's believed is blown large to stand, so grand for all the eyes to see, and it gives reason to be, and it safeguards against grief. And just as autumn leaves will fall, with flutters to the floor, what once was a part of us will one day be ignored, and we'll be bare and bored, just hoping for the summer warmth to thaw the snow for our soul's growth, and hope the sun will rise again in spite of the rain, because we merely live as slaves to all nature's flames. That light which sits in front of our eyes and analyse all truths for lies, from fact to fact we fling and fly, and none do last, no reason why. For even with our knowledge earned, we still neglect the lessons learned. Habit forms a flushing flood, we pine for toxins in our blood. We strive to box in those we love, but find in time they piss us off. And thus we're left to face the truth, we're all alone inside our view. Our moods and food for thought just ours. Our crude thought, our crude part scars to lipstick spars can't be transferred to others' hearts, except if we trust our intentions to last. But they don't, because they can't, can never stand outside that flushing, flurried tide the man has codenamed time. I guess that it is better to stay tuned to this true weather and keep on flowing with the breeze and become like a feather.
Yeah!
Thank you.
Of the superhero Dre Zera.
Woo! Boom! Hello! Hey! Can you guys hear me through this?
Yeah.
Cool. Now how fucked are we in society? Are we fucked? Due to, you know, that lady called May and that guy that rhymes his rump? Anyway, this poem is called Sulphur Sadness. You ready for this?
Yeah.
It goes a bit like this. Rotting, rancid reptiles, disgusting disciples, putrid plastic people, oppressed old oceans, castrated coal clear, forest flames fierce, environmental ecstasy. Tears turn torrential, mercy maniacal, sulphur servitude, sulphur seduction, sulphur satanical, rotting, disgusting, putrid, oppressing nature, castrated forest, environmental tears of mercy, save, suppressed systems, sulphur sadness. Thank you! Hey! Woo! I make this joke all the time when I perform, but I'm glad I'm flashing at you guys platonically. Yeah, I've got some light up shoes.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they're cool. So, who has Facebook?
Hey, I have it, but
Boo! What are we doing? If it weren't for Facebook, I would have never heard about this event! Yeah! Yeah, I make some damn good points. So, I've got this poem here. Can you guys hear me without this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got this poem here. It's called Unfriend is the End. It's all about a poem where somebody deletes your Facebook. No. Who's ever had that? Has anyone ever deleted your Facebook?
I'm not sure.
You're just too cool, aren't you? Nah. Okay. It goes a bit like this. Tears and tears drip from my puffy eyes. Hands shake and shake in frivolous guise. My heart beats and beats in furious fray as Annabelle unfriended me from Facebook. I'm in fucking disarray. How could she? We have had various memories upon memories between us from dawn to dusk. The time when Annabelle said yes to having a selfie with front flash under a bus. That moment when Annabelle and I had an engaging conversation in the encyclopedic library. Do you want to know what the conversation was? It went a bit like this. Hey Annabelle, you alright? Go away. That holy matrimony moment whereby we danced under the nightclub stars for all of 2 seconds. No idea why you said I danced like a bellend. I don't dance like that. The chair creaks and creaks its wooden frame. The telly signals crack and crack during Game of Thrones. For shame! The world isn't worth breathing and living anymore, my friend, because she deleted me. It is the end. Thank you! Alright, for my next poem, I need somebody to pretend to be my ex. Now, I need...
I've got long hair, I'll do it.
Yeah, as a bisexual man, I don't mind, come along.
What was your ex like? Was she nice or was she a bitch?
Oh man, what do you think? If it's a poem about exes, what do you guys think?
Okay, I'll throw the string over you then.
Nah man, don't make... Dude, it's not wrong kind of show. Don't make me go wet, okay?
Okay.
Alright. I need you to be more close to me, okay?
Alright, how close are we talking?
No, I don't want you to give me a blowjob, man. This is poetry, like, organised rhyme, you know what I mean? Yeah, poetry job. Poetry blowjob. Okay, it goes a bit like this poem. It's called There Is No Love, Only Toast. You guys ready? Yeah! One more time, are you ready? Yeah! It goes a bit like this. Oh, by the way, every time I go boom or this signal, I want you to shout boom. Let's go. Right, let's test it. Boom! Okay, it goes like this. Boom! Do you hear that? That's the sound of explosions of our remnants. Disillusion bombarding our transparent ideals of resentment. Oh, you don't know? That's the sound of no love. It's done. Begun. Oh, fun. Embrace the terrorists. No, sorry. Don't cut it. You played my shriveled nerve, took on my mind and tossed me to the curb. I just want you to know, Phil, if you can hear my words, yes, my words there. By the way, you treated me like the balls of your feet and make me reek at the lack of self-dignity within my social player scenery. Then all I can say to your next victim is, let him be him. Don't toss him to the bin, as that's a sin. You're better off making love to a tin. That way, yeah, that way, you feel sharp pain within your brain, and I promise it will stain. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Who wants to hear a poem? So this one, where the bar Jesus is. You know what? Yeah. I played into my ethnicity, yeah. Bloody hell! Who has the mother done? You know what?
Racist.
Hey. My dad speaks like that. I'm only imitating my dad, alright? I was gonna... Yeah, actually, where the flip is it? I had it somewhere. I found it! So, I was a university dropout a few years back, right? Yeah! And I studied in Anglia-Ruskin Uni. No one cares. Your mum went there.
What?
Your mum went there. I saw her last night. So this is called Hello Stranger. It goes a bit like this. Hello, how are you? You've changed, this can't be true. When I returned in your life, I felt pricks and sting with your cacti. We used to have adventures, exhilarating lectures upon lecture. Having a bite to eat with your peers invokes a lingering plate of fear. The fear of cracks through the ceramic, showcasing the sharp gravel, no longer elastic. Hello, it's time to say goodbye. This time for real, no matter how hard you try. University back then was not for me. But what about now? Computer science, never again. Shall T. Thank you! Yeah! I'm going to do one more, and I need... Now, earlier, I was drinking orange juice. The orange juice should be behind that man in the checkered shirt. Is there orange juice there? Alright, pass me the orange juice. Let's do a contest. Alright, so... Who likes alcohol? Yeah! Oh, okay. It's sort of like 50-50. So basically, I gave up alcohol after I went to Japan last year because I was drinking alcohol like water, and this poem is called Life of a Soberholic. Yeah. And I need a bit of crowd participation, so there's a bit of a chorus in this poem. So I want you to say it with me. You guys ready for this? Yeah! I said, are you ready? Yeah! Awesome. It goes a bit like this. There, like this. Oh, I can't even speak English. Bloody hell. As I have my shot of 100% orange juice. Down it. From concentrate. I witness my friend off his face making crop circles using his steaming piss for heaven's sake. Oh, life so sober. Oh, live the high life forever. Oh, life so sober. Forever I'm on hardcore H2O. Catch you. As I've had my second shot of orange juice. Boom. Down it, down it. With juicy bits. I was in the midst of an orgy consisting of my drunken hombres playing with Barbies whilst in their plastic birthday suits. They insisted they felt the climax despite Ken coming in, doing all the ploughing. They continued to both saying it was amazing. Oh, life is sober. Oh, live the high life forever. Oh, life is sober. Forever I'm on hardcore H2O. As I have my third shot of orange juice. Not from concentrate. I was drunkenly informed that Bernie Sanders was the new president. However, with resentment, I disclosed to her that America will never be great again. Then she waffled on about building some wall. Oh, life is sober. Oh, live the high life forever. Oh, life is sober. Forever I'm on hardcore H2O. I'm out of control as I down shot 4, shot 5, shot 6 of orange juice alongside a line of Bob Nobby's nuts on the top of the toilet seat. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. At least I lined it up neat without skipping a beat. Now that's a mean feat, despite how much I've had. As I finished my lines, my spine shivered as I witnessed a satanic, shrunken act upon an open toilet cubicle. Do you know what it is? KK. No, it's not KKK. 2 individuals eating fried chicken without washing hands. Handed over the hand soap before they murdered another breath as I whispered to them, chugging the 7th orange juice with extra juicy bit. Yeah! 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 I got wet for you guys! Oh, life is sober. Oh, live the high life forever. Oh, life is sober. Forever I'm on hardcore H2O. One more time! Oh, life is sober. Oh, live the high life forever. Oh, life is sober. Forever I'm on hardcore H2O. Thank you! My name is Ray Zero. This is my first ever time here. I love you guys. I'll be back here again. If you want to come chat me up or chat me platonically, I don't mind. I like making friends or beyond. Then chat to me, yeah? See you later. Yeah. Give it up for Ray Zero! Yeah! Fantastic.
knows it. You can catch him. He's even got business cards if you ask him. You can catch him on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and some little bills that I don't even recognise, man. Like, he's so ahead of the trend. But anyway. I love horses! Yeah, anyway, so next we have another first-time performer at Organised Rhyme by the name of Georgia Campbell.
You can get the footage of him, it's just like, pictures is alright, but like, it's just really distracting, like, having
I have a bit of a cold today, I'm sorry, so I don't normally sound like this.
And you can, if you want, we'll send you all the
This
footage.
is my first
from
poem,
here
it's
as well.
called What Would It Be Like to Be a Ghost?
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, cool. Okay, we'll keep over to this
Sometimes I
side.
wish to be an unearthly sprite, wearing graveyard gales sewn into tethered rags, a billowing rah-rah for a doll. Yet I hover at the top of the staircase in a haunted house. Ghosts continually planting weeds in the grounds, draining the lake, tarnishing your jewellery if you walk by on the footpath, frosting the crops at the farm and spitting from the clouds. Very abandoned, jarring, chapped toes pattering on rotting floorboards that ache like elders, once painted a ripe cherry red. Burgeoning splinters but sprawling sprats of diseased peridot cushions. Moss fibres keep weeping in the bracken, bricks and dust, coating my bird's nest hair. Dreams were torn out a century ago. This is the dream now. I'm a sleepy, haunting thing, stepping, rolling in dry dirt, and the fog merely tingles in the tongue. Sleep is for dinner, yet dawn cackles at the table, screaming in her orange kimono. She is blind and squinting, and dusk sits away from her, wax dripping from his eyes. He puffs on a pipe of dark matter. I bite on the crystals in my collection that congregate at the sinking marble steps. I salivate at the sight of magic, and I surrender to its healing, so weak. The spire crumbled for 8 years before the crows gnawed at the beams. I chew on death. It causes seams in my face. I wrote when I was a Victorian teen.
Yeah!
There'll be one more from her, but let me just say something quickly. Can you guys start coming forward, because we've got a lot of people showing love tonight coming here. Start coming forward, start edging forward a bit, and let's get a bit quiet at the back as well, please. Shut up! Shut up, yeah, that makes sense, that works. But anyway, anyway, come forward a little bit. Thank you so much for coming out, and anyway, on with the show.
Loving the earring phone combo, loving the colour.
Yeah!
This is called Ocean Dip. I wrote this about 2 days ago in my creative writing workshop. Look at that wrapping paper, neatly laid out like gift wrapping artistry, slick, laid on a glass table, sheen of azure cellophane, spreading meters away from the adult-sized pastel Wendy house. Candy-coloured deck chairs. I am at the edge of the table, where the cellophane, if I perhaps roly-polied onto it, naked and suntanned, it would wrap me up like a strawberry truffle. Rosy cheeks dipped into its plastic smooth hush, where a little toy kayak zooms in a neat line to wrap me up in a bow of foamy white lace, and the light of dawn quickly seeps in like a jeweller dusting a cardboard bag with petals.
That's what I'm talking about!
This one's less wishy-washy, it's more political. It's called TV channels. Ignorantly flicking through the channels, prisoners in Ohio with beards as rough as flannels. One prisoner strutting the compound, whatever, referred to by other inmates as Aryan Supreme Leader. Disgusted by Hitler's portrait tattooed upon his chest, why am I watching criminals compete to be the best? Flick to the shopping channel, selling soap, keep it clean. Flick back to Ohio, and now I feel mean. I'm wasting my time instead, so I watch Channel 4, a documentary about terminal illness. I slumped to the floor. The people have as little as 1 year to live, and if the years of the lives of the inmates in Ohio I could give, the terminally ill with families and dreams, undeserving of the pain and beholding silent screams, I would hand those years over, but where does that leave America's deadliest in their enclosure? It simply leaves the world as an unexplainable place, and an idiot with a tattoo of a true villainous face. I've got one quick short one.
Go for it!
It's called Enchantress. Escape Earth and live upon the finely tuned clouds adorned with silver threads. You are a seamstress in your spare time, stitching the sky, making a patchwork of opera for your tunnel dusk. You wear raindrops for pearls, and your makeup is blended moonlight. Even if you fell, you would be held by the spindly embrace of your pine trees and dewy grasses, peridot tresses twirling with your own curls as you are tucked in by spongy woodland. You are an enchantress, and reality does not touch you. Tend to it, of course, but feel no need to surrender unless you're surrendering to the indigo vortex of unconditional truth and the L word. These descriptions are not satisfying enough to depict the nourishment this state of being offers. Trust me, it holds all your innermost desires to not go near reality.
You rule!
Come on, everybody! Loving those earrings, by the way, real nice. Let me say thank you all for coming out so much. It's you lot that make this good, that make this happen, that keep this going on every month. So big respect to you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Fantastic. Right, come on, that was a half-assed round of applause. Give yourself a round of applause. Clapping for yourselves, man. Fantastic. Okay, yeah. So another regular organised rhyme is our main man, Harry Ixer.
Hello. Yeah. Pick up this guy.
I love this guy!
Yeah. Keeping the vibe alive. So usually I spit bars. I'm a rapper. Organised rhyme. We like to try and read some poems. But this time I'm just going to do an a cappella, one of my old ones. And then I'm going to do a little poem I thought of today, which is a little shorter. So let's see how I go. I've got the lyrics written down just in case I slip, but I shouldn't do. One moment. Okay. Okay, I've never done this without the beat. It's going to be strange.
You need a beat. You want us to beat?
No. I need shh. Right, let's do this. I'm all over the place. Season the days, nature seasons it with age. Shit. I'm starting again. Just reiterate that one. This is called I'm all over the place. Okay. Kind of sounded singing to me, that's why. No. Alright, shit. I'm all over the place. Season the day as nature seasons it with age. Can't escape the ways of the world in which we wake. I can't even calculate why you'd want to in the first place. Not there just to take, but to improve and appreciate. Should be truly ingrained in the way in which we operate on the daily. I never see rose tinted or jaded. The world is real, you can't copy and paste. And start again, that needed neither sour taste. Because the first worldwide information generation about to infiltrate. As long as we turn on our brains, don't be afraid. They even work in the rain. You ought to take it out the box, you can't take it back anyway. Same as every word I say, might as well be sprayed on the wall. Because I meant it all, man, and I can't suffer fools. Especially the ones hung up on trying to be cool. Might fuck it off, move to Portugal and live on bugger all, but I still don't feel stuck at all. Wanna stick around and see how lucky my cards fall. Feels like I'm waiting to heed my call. I brace myself for a distant horn or bell tour as I stay on course. I'm at home on these shores, ready to relieve my tension and breathe some life into the cause. I believe paramount in the potential of a positive thought. Sometimes I wonder if the power is proportionate to the amount of draw I've bought. More like the company I've sought, or might be my ultimate acceptance and pride of being taught something I didn't know before, regardless of the source. Prejudice is charmless, I use the truth to reinforce my views. Since the day the stalk came through, you can't distort my route, and should you try, I'm never shy, you'll get a talking to. Shit, I'm all over the place. Sort of phrase you could take in many ways. Could mean A to B, or I might not be feeling myself lately. You know me, Harry I read, completely at ease, predictive text suggests happy. As we proceed, you know what you see on the sleeve means seemingly you're bound to see me down in the D's at some time. Stay in my mind, I couldn't hide it for toffee. Although I might try and hide it with strong coffee. Amongst other things, most probably drunk and disorderly, but not if you check chronologically. The amount of booze I consumed was about as relevant as the monarchy. It was supposed to be a modern day democracy. They run a tight dichotomy. As far as I can see, human beings are divided to hide the daylight robbery. Life's like a pot full of keys left on the table for me, but what about those underneath? Plenty turn the other cheek and go to work, but since birth I was splendid with the speech. I played Kaniki in Greece before I was running on the beach. And since I made my peace, they're chucking beats at me like CVs. So don't mind me, I'm trying to MC responsibly. In all honesty, I'm trying to avoid the breeze and keep it brief. Yeah! Sweet, I've got 2 minutes and this poem shouldn't take very long at all. So I make falafels for a living and it's the sort of shit I come up with. Yeah! Leap years, brief years, deep years, steep years, sweet years, bleak years, peak years, delete years, repeat years, eat years, sleep years. Thank you.
Yeah! He's amazing! Yeah! Give me a hug! I love hugs! Big respect! Where's the sound gun? Where's the sound gun? Big respect to Harry Exxon! Thank you guys all for coming out for Organised Run. Please try to stay out of the way of the light. That's so our cameraman here can get everything. We're hoping. Yo!
Oh, I know the pain. Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't like to drink before I come on stage. It's a bit wobbly. I'm doing one new poem and one old poem. You might have heard the new one before. But yeah, thank you so much for inviting me back. It's a really cool night and I'm loving the venue tonight and everything.
Yeah!
Woo! Loving the support as well. So yeah, this is called, actually I won't tell you what it's called. I'll just tell you the context of the poem first.
Oh, it works for me.
The title was in the poem. So basically, I wrote this poem after going on holiday in Croatia, and I was just at this bar, and this guy just comes up to me and goes, "You're definitely a 10." He chuckles, smirks at me like a butch Cheshire cat, eyes like a hungry rat looking for its next meal. Perhaps I am the catch of the day, the ideal, a girl in mascara, a bodycon bralette and heels. He can see the smooth skin of my back. This means I am his to touch and bring back and shove down his pants like the pink pick-and mix he nicked at 6 years old at Woolworths. To him, this is a sport. I am now the answer to a mathematical equation, a mark on a quiz paper, a sign on a black door, a 10. Surely this is what every girl should be striving for. Each atom that has bounced around to form this body, each year I have lived through, each person, place, smile, frown and hobby has led me here, to you, and your perfectly calculated price tag. I should put this on my CV. Who needs brains when I've got a face and a case of 10? The gatekeepers, the men, will be happy with just this 10. Wish I hadn't bothered with A-levels, or learning at all in fact. All I need is a modelling contract. But then I wonder if I would still be this number if I had not filled in my eyebrows or painted on my lips. What if he found out that I didn't use waxing strips? And would I perhaps be a 9, 10 years down the line? My tits no longer so perky, skin no longer so smooth. By then I hope we may live in a world that teaches young girls to value their minds over their flat bellies, thigh gaps, bums for boys to grab at, and nipples. Nipples they can only compare to the ones on pawn shelves or page 3, out just for men to stare at, use, scrunch up and toss in the bin. Thank you.
a very different poem now. And I'm really bad at like reading stuff. I feel a lot more confident when I know in my head, so sorry if I mess up. This is, I wrote this poem just before going to a poetry night a couple of months ago, and the theme was London, and I had to write a poem about London, and I used to live in London, and like I thought I was just going to write this really funny poem about like how ridiculously expensive beer is in London, and just like the standard things you would say about London. But whoops, what did I do? Sorry. Microphone malfunction. But I ended up writing this, and it's called Paving. I was moulded by the faded paving stones that ran up and down my grandmother's street. I would jump over the cracks in the concrete like my life depended on it, thinking I might slip between the fine lines and be consumed by the creatures lurking beneath. The safety of this neighbourhood, my family, these doors to suburban homes, each identical, each containing a widow or a wife or a life so often forgotten about. I was moulded not only by each chromosome passed down from your dimpled smile, your eyelashes and fingernails, but by your home. Your useless washing machine, blocked drains, shelves of board games, brown carpets and religious relics, and that dusty liquor cabinet. Each bottle still full with the weight of your tears because he could never return to drink them away. I grew up on my grandmother's sofa, her thick bolognese and milky tea. I was moulded by the rough bark on her frail, contorted apple tree, which left my elbows, my feet, my knees covered in blisters. This is the part of the city nobody talks about. You can barely hear the tubes rumbling. So slightly removed from the pushing and the rushing, the fumes could not catch us here, and the air felt still and silent, like it was waiting for a storm. But this was still London, just slightly more affordable, at that time at least. This was London, the way I remember it, the clearest one that harbours in my mind. But it was also the train rides home that moulded my childhood. How small I felt, how invisible in underground tunnels, pushed around like I was in a pinball machine. Back then, squeezing into overly crowded buses was normal for me. So was falling asleep to the beats of far-off speakers that vibrated through the streets, and the shouts and screams which woke me from my dreams. But it wouldn't be long until we would see her again, waiting for us at that school step, to push through crowds, to take us home, to feed us apple strudel, to comb our hair, to cook and clean, and never ask for a thing in return. I didn't realise how busy it all was until we left her in a city where she had no one left to wait for. It seemed strange that the same concrete paving stones still lie there, cemented to her streets. How peculiar that the place I felt safest now shelters people alien to me. And the London I now float back to is not the same one I hold close to me. It lives independently of a person who taught me the value of a smile and the pain of goodbye. Thank you very much.
Energetic, everybody! Second time I organised rhyme and smashed it as hard as the first, man. Awesome.
Damn straight.
Yeah, damn straight. So anyway, so how you guys enjoying the new venue? This is the first time at Gringos. What do you guys think? Yeah. Okay, so you're liking it. Well, we're going to give you a little bit of time to explore the venue, check out the really nice covered smoking area downstairs, etc. Because we're going to have a little...
latest sombreros to hand out, courtesy of the bar staff, if anyone wants to wear one. No? Yeah? Are you ready? Really? Anyone else want one? I'll get on your head eventually, Yarly. Right, I've got to go anyway. Right, so my name's Sebastian Miyagi. Don't be shy to like cheer and shit like that when I'm playing, because I say this every time, but I'm more used to like playing in front of crowds and people getting rowdy on beat and everything like that. So yeah, I feel a bit weird like in this sort of situation. I'm gonna do a tune off my new album, shameless plug. I haven't actually got any albums on me, but it's online. It's called It's on Bandcamp actually, but yeah, big up. And yeah, basically, I wrote it when I was biking in the rain home. I wrote it when I was biking home in the rain, and I was in a really shit mood basically. And I just thought to myself, I just had an epiphany, and I just thought, do you know what? Even though it is raining, and I am in a shit mood, you need the rain to water the plants, and you need to have a reality check sometimes. And this is about perspective, basically. It was written when David Cameron was still in power, and it's called So You Think. So here we go. So you think that the world's in recession, time to put your perspective into question. Question everyone, even your brethren, but live for love and love every second. So you think that the mind is a weapon? So you don't think that the mind is a weapon? Time to put your perspective into question. So you don't think that the mind is a weapon? How many guns Cameron got in his possession? So you think that the world's in recession? Time to put your perspective into question. They say you can't get blood from a stone. Try telling that to people in Sierra Leone. They say we're alone with drones, no one but us. There's secret societies but no stone cutters. You say you're enlightened, hardly. You won't leave the house because of the Illuminati. You'll be weathered whether the weather is hot or not. So we'll make music forever together to make it hot. The winds have changed, don't change for no reason. So sow the seeds even in the bad season. Then watch them grow even when it's freezing. Blow up the globe and watch the snow start leaving. Cut off the root, not the branches. Don't turn snowballs into avalanches. Don't have to be bipolar to change poles. But real change needs to come in our souls. So you think that the world's in recession? Time to put your perspective into question. Question everything, even your brethren, but live for love and love every second. So you don't think that the mind is a weapon? How many guns Cameron got in his possession? So you think that the world's in recession? Time to put your perspective into question. When I perform a rhyme, I get realigned to what's set on us before the dawn of time. They say it's darkest before the dawn. Oh, fuck, I fucked that verse up, right? I'm going to have to pull that up. Sorry about that, right? Okay. When I perform a rhyme, I get realigned to what's set on us before the dawn of time. They say it's better the devil you know, so don't be forgetting that I will not go. They say it's darkest before the dawn, so look for me in the shadows before the morn. You see the glass half empty, not half full, but I know it's half filled, so that's bull. Even if half filled, at least it was there. I tried telling people this, they don't care. The rains drop from the clouds because we're raining down. Ain't touched the drop, so ain't complaining now. The conditions of mental decisions determines the elemental wisdom.
Yeah.
So you think that the world's in recession? Time to put your perspective into question. Question everything, even your brethren, but live for love and love every second. So you don't think that the mind is a weapon? How many guns did Cameron have in his possession? So you think that the world's in possession? So you think that the world's in recession? Time to put your perspective into question. Thank you. Big up yourselves, big up Organised Rhyme. It's the titch.
Yes, Mashi Miyagi! Check out his new album he was mentioning, World War Rest and Recuperation. Seriously good stuff, man. Seriously good. And anyway, we're running a little behind schedule, but that's no matter. You guys sometimes sound a little bit longer for a little bit extra poetry, do you? Yeah! Yeah? No, only one guy. Okay. You can all go home whenever you want. There's no, you know, you don't have to stay. But if you want to hear some more poetry, we will be running on a little bit later tonight. Anyway, you mind if I do one? Yeah! Okay, cool.
You've got 2 minutes.
Cool. Right, I got all this stuff falling everywhere, man. What do you think of my purple music stand, man? It's a new little addition to Organised Rhyme.
I love the purple.
Yeah, purple's my favourite colour, man. Purple Prince of Peer Pressure, right here. Anyway, so, on we go with the show. Right. Sometimes I get paranoia. Sometimes I get paranoid my brain's destroyed, permanent paranoia. Sometimes I'm paranoid, I'm getting paranoia struck, preemptive paranoia. Sometimes the paranoia tells me that I'm not paranoid enough, perpetuating paranoia. Sometimes I think I'll be put in prison for a laugh, police paranoia. Sometimes I think the ambulances are police cars, paramedic paranoia. Sometimes I think my friends, they all laugh at me, posse paranoia. Sometimes I think that mind readers are after me, psychic paranoia. Sometimes I can't make my paranoia stop, preoccupying paranoia. Sometimes I get paranoid that I'm getting paranoid when I'm not, perplexing paranoia. Sometimes I think my body has cancer, pain paranoia. Sometimes a web app gives me the same answer, plug-in paranoia. Sometimes I'm paranoid people are looking at me, perspective paranoia. Sometimes I realise that they're wearing shades because they can't actually see, pointless paranoia. So I think, what if they're sick of hearing me, pronunciation paranoia? Or what if I'm not sharing this seat properly, park bench paranoia? And sometimes I get paranoid something is controlling my head, parasite paranoia. Sometimes I think little people in black and white want me dead, penguin paranoia. Sometimes I'm paranoid I'm doing too many drugs, powder paranoia. Sometimes I'm paranoid that I'm not doing enough, premature aging paranoia. Sometimes I'm paranoid I'm not around enough movers and shakers, peer paranoia. Sometimes I get paranoid that movers and shakers, they're actually all a bunch of fakers, poser paranoia. Sometimes I measure my paranoia out into manageable doses, proportion paranoia. Sometimes I get paranoid that they're doses I can't cope with, prescription paranoia. Sometimes I get paranoid bakers are spitting in my food, pastry paranoia. Sometimes I get paranoid that the Cornish want my doom, pasty paranoia. Sometimes I wonder on my paranoia's nature, philosophical paranoia. Then I think that I'll think about it later, putting off paranoia. Sometimes I'm paranoid I've eaten too much soft cheese lately, Philadelphia paranoia. Sometimes I get paranoid I listen to too much 80s, paranoia, won't you rock me paranoia? I even get paranoid the floor won't hold me sometimes, pavement paranoia. It worries me even more because I know that I can't climb, parkour paranoia. Sometimes I'm paranoid that the crowd's had enough, performance paranoia. Sometimes I'm paranoid that I can't make this poem stop, poetry paranoia. So before I go hide, remember, there's one thing about paranoia that's always true. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean people aren't out to get you. Let me find the next one real quick. You mind if I do one more?
You've got 1 minute.
1 minute. I make the rules right here, baby. Okay. You're probably wondering who this loudmouth cunt is that's standing up between all the acts and yammering on about a load of bollocks and telling you to clap and all these things like that. But anyway, so here's a little bit about who I am. This is called, well, the name's in the title anyway. The Not From Concentrate Kid, and I make no apologies. I make people smile, and my anecdotes often take a while. Make people stress when I lose my phone and I'm hard to dial. Sometimes I care too much about my appearance and style. Make people wait till I come outside. Make my girlfriends upset when I just want to hide. But those who know me know if they need me, I'll always be by their side, and I will make no apologies. Sometimes I'm an all-night binger. Sometimes I'm a pimping promoter and party bringer. Sometimes I use my tongue to express my middle finger. Sometimes I use it to make backs arch and left legs quiver. But I use it to make no apologies. Sometimes I make far too much noise, get a little too hyped when I'm out with the boys, push my chest out, claim I can't be destroyed, and strangers get themselves annoyed, but I don't care, because I bring my friends joy, and I will make no apologies. Sometimes I make up white lies that later bring tears to eyes, and sometimes plans I devise end badly when someone cries, then regrets I have to push aside, but I will make no apologies. Sometimes I keep things well buried and no one knows if I'm steady. Sometimes I make my family worried in the funny farms I've studied. Tried to call myself recovered, I can't be stopped, but I can't be hurried. And I will make no apologies. Sometimes I think too much on what is and what's not. get confused about what's what, lose the plot, then hold on, sorry. Now you got, I make no apologies! I've hurt myself and scarred myself and not given a damn who cares when I hurt myself. Learned my way around a syringe to calm myself. Only left that deadly path after a couple friends departed themselves. And I will never stop grieving them until I've done death's dance myself. And I'll forever see those marks on my arm myself. But I will make no apologies. I make people laugh and people cry. I've seen friends pass and people die. I feel most at home before a crowd because here I know no apologies allowed. I've walked with my head held high and I've walked with it bowed. I've walked many the skies but of myself I'm proud. I've walked many a road and come back again. I've let everything go except my friends. I've chosen good and I've chosen bad. I felt unfathomable joy and the indescribably sad. Judge me if you want because I couldn't give a damn. Here I stand before you a man flawed and damaged, but a man never sorry, a man who makes no apologies. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it. So, who we got up next? We have a headline act for you tonight. Andy Bennett, where are you, Andy?
My pants are ready!
Hi kids.
Tonight!
Give me a cheer if you're drinking. Give me a cheer if you're drunk. This one's for you guys. As I woke in pain and bleary, with a stench so foul and beery, I wrestled with this query. How'd I end up here once more? Indistinctly I remember I'd been on a vodka bender when I woke with head so tender on the clammy kitchen floor. This I knew, but nothing more. Well, it's lucky no one found me with those empties all around me, staring anxious and astounded through an open cupboard door. Because there under the sink was what I clearly had to drink. Nestled next to the box of Persil was a bottle of Lenore. Fabric softener, called Lenore. Now in my younger years I drank many kinds of beers, wines and spirits, alcoholic drinks galore. But I've never been so punk that fabric softener's been drunk. However low I've sunk when I'm really fucking poor, and I'm often very poor. What the hell had I been thinking in the midst of all that drinking? That I needed subtle hints of lemon freshness at my core? Well, why even stop there when there's plenty of fairy liquid Daz and Ariel for a nightcap I could pour, or, in the case of washing powder, snort? So I'm lying there in bits, belly full of beer shits and a loathing of myself, which I'd clearly earned, I'm sure, when like fearsome thunder clapping there arose this noisome tapping. Only Michael Winner rapping could annoy me anymore. He's been dead for years and I shouldn't do that joke anymore. Then as the sound began to rise, just like the pain behind my eyes, I quite slowly realised that I was on my own no more. For as far as I could gather, at my feet there sat a badger. His face all wet and splattered, blood red in tooth and claw, evil badger, steeped in gore. The badger sat there grinning like the ghost of all my sinning, simply grinning, only grinning with a smirk upon his jaw. Had he come here to confuse me, to torment me and abuse me? It could not be to soothe me with that blood upon his paw. Oh, badger, wherefore? Still he sat and showed no motion, nor no flicker of emotion, or any kind of notion as to what he'd come there for, just sitting in the gloom, emanating clouds of doom which filled my chilly room with a glimpse of what's in store for the fool who drank Lenore. And still there is this crashing, like 50 cymbals clashing in my head with heated passion. How much more could I endure? My senses all routed, my sanity I doubted. As desperate I shouted at the badger on the floor with all the strength that I could draw. Oh, why do you annoy me? Were you sent here to destroy me? Being so loud and noisy when my head is very sore? Why, you black and stripy bastard, don't you know that I got plastered last night while I was wasted, drank this bottle of Lenore? Quoth the badger, shut your maw. Why don't you quit your crying? Yes, you're sick and maybe dying. It's your own fault you were lying there upon the kitchen floor. What the hell did you expect, hurling that shit down your neck? Thus the badger did reflect, oozing hate from every pore. I continued. I implored, oh, badger, I've been thinking, is this about my drinking? Are you here to give an inkling I should think about a cure? Please, badger, say this visit is to rouse my drunken spirit. The booze, well, I can quit it. Help me, badger, I implore, quoth the badger. Don't be sure. Did I neglect to mention that this ain't an intervention nor a sign of the dementia in the brain that you forswore? No way I'm here beside you to help you out or guide you, but rather to deride you. You're a moron, to be sure, quoth the badger, with a roar. Now we lie in the pre-dawn, heavy blinds and curtains drawn, and the badger, with a yawn, rests his head and starts to snore. As my senses start to dull, I know for him there'll be no cull, for the pounding in my skull says it's me that is no more, thanks to drinking, damned and all. And the badger still is napping, despite the tapping, still is napping and occasionally crapping on the clammy kitchen floor. As my eyes begin to close, I feel him drooling on my toes. For me, there's no more shows, no returning. Pack, don't call, and I'll go drinking, nevermore. Cheers. Yeah, motherfuckers. Like a poet-type poet. And so I'm going to do a little bit of poetry education for you all. Who knows who that is? That, motherfuckers, thank you. That is George Gordon, Lord Mad, Bad and Dangerous to Leave Alone in a Room with his own half-sister, Byron. Okay? That is Lord Byron. Now, I hate this cunt for many, many reasons. So I decided I was going to do a poem for him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to perform this next poem for Lord Byron here on this lovely purple music stand.
Where's Byron from?
Where's Byron from? Well, he was born in Scotland, and his ancestral home that he inherited is in Nottinghamshire. There you go. It's called Newstead Abbey, which I mentioned in this poem. This, for anyone who's interested, is an old medieval rhyme form called Rhyme Royal. Oh Byron, you're a poet, loved by many, as many now as when your ink was flowing. You'd crack a pithy punchline good as any, your shining stanzas still set minds a-glowing. But when you died, did you perchance die knowing that you'd best be known not as a poet of genius, but more as one who couldn't tame his penis? Because that's the sad reality, old bean. You don't believe me? Watch your life on telly. The shagging's painted into every scene. Well, yes, there's Newstead, Bose and bits of Shelley, but Posey gets a look in on your Nelly. There's boys and girls who writhe in sweaty lustre, and then, of course, you, sleeping with Augusta. Now, I'm not here to judge, that's not my goal, and as to moral high ground, I claim none. Suffice to say, I have a drinker's soul, I've essayed every sin under the sun, but let me just say this, and then I'm done. Whatever magic passed between the two of you has shaped this century's salacious view of you. You might be angry if the dead feel rage that such a short liaison swamped the fame and glories you had won upon the page, but bugger that. Though it's a shame, I have a bigger beef, and you're to blame. You set a bar impossibly high, o'er which the epic poet has to fly. You ragged the Lakers' vain-afflected glories, sent Harold wandering through Spain and Rome, filled Beppo up with rants against the Tories, sent Joan off to Russia and back home, although you never finished that great tone. And when you swam, I'll bet the mighty Styx, you'd done all this by age of 36. What hope do you leave for faithful bards these days, who seek to keep the torch you held still burning, who strive to touch in flattery your lays, who, with a little skill and osmose learning, believe they have a pen that's quite discerning? And when they rhyme, there must be some as well as me, who read your rhymes and then go mad with jealousy. So humbly, Byron, crazy Georgie B, it is with fledgling wings I hereby wish to now dedicate this simple rhyme to thee. I've seen the muse and often I have kissed her, and thank the stars that she's my only sister. And though I follow with such tiny feet, I hope that you'll forgive me when we meet. And when we meet in hell, or maybe never, I'll beat your smarmy face till you've a blue one. I'll tan your cocky hide as black as leather and make you write the ending to Don Juan. And after that, I'll gladly get my brew on with you, some wine, some ladies and a dance. But please, Lord Byron, keep it in your pants. Cheers.
To Byron! Woo! Big Byron! Keep it in your pants, baby!
Umar, that actually goes for you as well. Okay, let's do another one. This is called Phrenology. The sword and the pen had a fight this once. The sword got sick of the pen and his rep, just strutting around with undeserved fame, going, yo, I'm the pen. You gonna step to me, bitch? I'm the baddest. You try and fuck with me, you'll be the saddest. Because me and man Nibble take your ass to the morgue. Everyone knows the pen's mightier than the sword. The sword wouldn't take this. He had backbone, pattern welded spine entwined on the inside. His steely constitution wouldn't take no shit from an upstart bick. A fucking glorified crayon. He ain't playing, designed for killing and he's made for slaying. He turns to the pen and says, boy, you're a fool. No way you can win, I'm a weapon, you're a tool, let's duel. Here's the rules. We meet at dawn, we stand back to back. We take 10 paces, then I'll hack you up, sucker. Now hit the sack. Get some sleep. Tonight's your last night. When the sun comes up, we'll see who's got the might. At first light they meet, both prepared to fight to the death, to the very last breath. I know swords and pens can't technically breathe, but this is just a poem. Suspend your disbelief. Back to back they stand, the sword and the pen. They start to pace and count to 10, turn to face. The pen drew first, drew a picture annotated with a scrap of verse. Turned to the sword, said, see, I'm so great. You can kill and maim, but I can create pictures and poems and the ABC. Give it up, Stabby, you'll never beat me. The sword slashed and flashed and cut that shit to ribbons, destroying everything that the pen had written. Turned to the pen, said you jumped up, Quill. That's the last time I'll let you get up in my grill. I'll kill you, spill your ink. Don't even think I can't make you extinct quicker than a blink. I'm not gonna, because I know you've been misled. You got a stupid platitude running through your head. It's just an old saying. You can't take it at its word. It's ludicrous to think that a pen could beat a sword. It was written by a man in a play by Richelieu in 1839. That doesn't make it true. We need to change the maxim. It's time to announce that it's the mighty mind behind the pen that counts. Yes. Cheers.
More!
Okay. Little bit of change of pace. A little bit of change of pace on this one. This is one I wrote like a while ago, actually. I think it was about 2010. I know most of you aren't old enough to be older than The Simpsons, but if you can remember far back as 2010, back in 2010, I don't remember, we had this thing called the Labour Party, and they were in power, bizarrely. Fuck knows how that happened. But yeah, and there was this guy, has anyone heard of a guy called Professor David Nutt? Professor David Nutt was the drugs advisor for the Labour government, and he got fired for doing his job, for telling the truth about drugs and things like that. One of his oft-most quoted sayings was that taking ecstasy is no more dangerous than riding a horse, which is true, and he got fired.
Woo!
Not woo. But I thought, gap in the market here. Government needs a new drugs advisor. I shall put myself forward. I'm not a scientist, but I'm fucking honest.
Ride a horse on ecstasy.
That's exactly what I did. I took a load of drugs, and then I rode a horse. These are my findings. This is a real scientific report, which is true and real as yes, and it's called 12 Common Recreational Narcotics and Their Influence on Equestrian Prowess. Or high horses for short. Number 1, marijuana. You ride the horse perfectly at one with its natural rhythm. After the ride, you and the horse sit on the grass and discuss post-bop third-string jazz while eating dark chocolate and hummus. Mephedrone. You ride the horse normally, only it takes you until 8 o'clock in the morning. You spend all the next day swearing you'll never ride a horse again. Cocaine. You ride the horse furiously. He eventually throws you off because of your cruelty, so you run off and try and fuck his girlfriend. Speed. You ride the horse all night and all the next day until you reach Paris. The French eat the horse. Ecstasy. You ride the horse around the same field 300 times listening to progressive psy-trance. You then dismount and hug the horse for about 2 hours. No one can decide which one of you is the sweatier. Salvia. If, by the way, anyone doesn't know any of the drugs on the list, come see me afterwards. I've got samples. Salvia. First one's free. Salvia. While you are riding the horse, it turns into a construction made entirely of rice. Each individual grain of rice then explodes into a swirling constellation of infinite universes. The universes slowly coalesce into a Rolodex, which you flick through until you find a picture of a horse you recognise. You dive into the Rolodex to find you've travelled exactly 3 feet. Magic mushrooms. You are unable to ride the horse due to excessive laughter and the niggling conviction that your left hand has become invisible. 2CI. You become convinced the horse hates you, so you hide in a tree for 6 hours, humming dazed and confused and wetting your joggers. Heroin. You ride the horse to Glasgow, where you both fit right in. Hey! They love that one in Edinburgh.
We got Scotland.
The horse eventually betrays you over a once-in-a-lifetime smack deal, and you die in a squat with a kitten and a dead baby. LSD, you paint the horse in bright colours and ride it through the American Midwest, freaking out the squares. You eventually declare that the horse is God, you are Jesus, and you wake up in a California penitentiary with a swastika on your forehead. Number 11, alcohol. You ride the horse at extreme speed into a bus stop full of children, killing 17 of them. You escape punishment as the government decides that alcohol is perfectly safe, and the horse must have had a technical malfunction.
Alcohol.
The horse is destroyed and turned into glue. You appear in a series of popular beer commercials and turn into John Terry. And number 12, ketamine. Horse just falls asleep. Cheers. Right, just a couple more. This one is, again, it's fairly old actually, but it's never been more apposite. I used to like Facebook, I used to like Twitter, and then Brexit happened and Donald Trump became whatever he is, the Orange Emperor.
Oh, Trump.
Beating the internet in general. And I don't even think he's got a title. I'll say this now with honest face. The internet's a cracking place, a wonder of the human race where knowledge gathers at a pace, but never scroll down. You see, it has these lofty goals of hosting democratic polls, yet woe betide ye, man who scrolls like under bridges. There be trolls and ruffles, OMGs and lols, so never scroll down. Yes, faceless furies wait you there with righteous indignation. They're incapable of spelling their absurd beliefs, yet still they share. And also, spoilers, shit, beware too late. I warned you, take more care. Never scroll down. These badly educated twats all ruin friendly online chats by posting bile and rarely facts and billions of bloody cats. Never scroll down. Some bachelor of arts with honours is writing Muslims all upon us, or immigrants who steal jobs from us, or give gays rights, the end's upon us. But none of this is half as wrong as his wanton lack of fucking commas. Never scroll down. I bet the internet's inventors thought they'd made a world for Mensa. Instead, the half below the centre is full of clumsy keyboard fences, bludgeoning syntax and tenses. If this is free speech, give me censors to filter out these guff dispensers. Never scroll down. Of course, I'm kidding. You can say I'm all for verbal liberty, but after a late beer or three, I'm guilty of hypocrisy because I let them get to me because I scroll down. Oh, Virgil's, Hades, Dante's, Hull, what purgatory for wordy souls. From whence this rage I can't control. I know the language must evolve, but now it seems I know my role. I'd rather rant than problem solve. So click, tap, 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 click. Goodbye, sense, and hope farewell. And now I'm one of them, I yell with caps lock on so you can tell. Because if I'm wading straight through hell, I'll teach these lazy fiends to spell, and so for all my education, I'm guilty by association. But here in hope of some salvation, I'll share for your consideration guidelines for the online nation. Learn the rules of punctuation. Leave the house for conversation. Use the net for masturbation. And for your self-preservation. Never scroll down. I'm over there. I've no idea what time we're on. Do one more, okay. Hello.
We got Mo Byron.
It's my next door neighbours. They hear me sneeze, I hear them shag. It's fucking brilliant. No, that would be even worse.
There's a wall between
okay.
them?
Let me just think. What was I going to do? Okay, so it's February, and me and three other poets do this thing called 28 Sonnets Later, where we each do put a poem on a website every day. It's a little silly
What's the
challenge.
website?
It's called 28sonetslater.blogspot.com. You can follow us on Twitter at 28sonetslater.com. No, there's not .com in Twitter. But
What's
anyway,
the punctuation?
Yeah, doesn't count if I'm not typing. So this is one I wrote last year. This year we're doing, because there's 28 days in February, and there's 28 member states of the EU, so we're each doing a sonnet based on each of the member states of the EU, so each of that. This is what I did last year, and this basically sums up my celebratory nihilistic view or outlook on life, and it's not a funny one, it's just a very serious one. We know the seasons, pre-built in our genes. We know the order, how the cycle goes from dawn to dusk, with intervening woes, from birth to death, with scattered sunny scenes. We know those cyclical and planned routines, how every budding blood-red rose must surely die and wilt and decompose, bequeathing just a fragrance on the breeze. We know we're dead, Yet still we carry on regardless, ludicrous, quixotic braves. Achievements count for nothing when you're gone, except the smile you carry to your grave. Romantic types like me would say with pride, it's not the destination, but the ride. I've been Andy Bennett, thank you very much.
Andy! Yes, what do you think of our headline act, Andy Bennett? Yeah, wicked, wasn't he? Awesome. So, yeah, really glad to have him here. Really thankful he came, man. He's headline act tonight. He's done obviously really well. And thank you guys all for coming again. I know I keep saying that, but I really want to say that it's you lot that make this night what it is. Thank you so much for coming. And anyway, we're going to have, before our break, sombreros in the building. Welcome to Gringos, man. Anyway, so before the break, before our next break, we're going to have one poem from a regular, organised rhymer, one of my personal favourites, our main man, Mohammed Amin.
Mohammed Amin. Oh my God, I got Mohammed in my name. Yeah.
Hey there, good evening. I wrote this one after Trump put in the immigration ban, and I saw people all getting angry about it, and I thought, look, that's what he wants. And I just started to think that that's part of his politics, is to rise people up and get them angry so he can see where the people he gives a damn about lie and who's going to follow his story. So this overreaction to him is like part of the plan. He's on social media. He's able to see what's going on. He's seeing what people are following, what stories, his teams and all the people around him. So yeah, I started to see that he's closing ranks in America by putting out these absurd policies and creating reactions. So this one's called Changing of the Guard. So I wrote it the day after the immigration ban. We see the signs of the time, the changing of the guard. Mandarin man is coming down hard. Order of the exec by the president-elect. Immigration ban is coming to effect. But the countries where these refugees come from are the same that his generals will topple and bomb. From the bottom up with a grassroots coup, or from the top down with a B-52. Tactical violence, letting people suffer. Walls of silence, setting up a buffer. Who can estimate the rising levels of hate and designate threats based on a nation state? It's cowboy hood defining the good. The bad and the ugly according to the blood, as if by default these people are terrorists. It's a brave new world, this is the book of eugenesis. He's testing the waters all across the pond. He's on the home front and he's waving his wand, and he's testing each judge to see if they'll budge or hold to the law and so hold a grudge. Outside it seems like he's building a tank. Inside he's dividing and so closing rank. In corridors of power he's checking who's loyal and letting peeps on the streets blood over boil. He ain't thinking crazy, though it won't last. Actions, reactions will come to pass. He knows he's got a nation rising to fight, so he forced the situation just to bring them to light. We're alt-right, post-truth, let's go post-crazy. Stop saying that's mad, because that thinking's lazy. Stop shouting about what he can and can't do. It's time to apply that critique to you.
Yeah!
Speaking the truth, man. Give it up for Mohammed Amin! Yeah. So, you're going to hear more from him after the break, but we're going to have another little quick 50 blessing. Ask yourselves if we ever truly learned that lesson. Nazism never died among uniforms black like their souls. The population perfectly pacified whilst the televised painkillers take hold. The revolution grows cold. So we stay silent while our souls are sold. Some wish for a humanity cast from a greater mould, but the dream is old. We must scream, but we have no mouth. The killer's eyes are empty, their targets are priorities. Their logic more extracted than Babylon's lottery. Cry not softly. until your eyes cannot find the tears. And anger whitewashes all your fears. The future is you, but the only place you can be is right here. It doesn't matter if our goals aren't clear, because towards X we drift. Motivated only by the knowledge that it must no longer be like this. This fetish for consuming life, one enormous Christmas list, looting others' labour so we can give ourselves another gift. If you run out of hope, no problem. Just let yourselves be pissed. Ask yourself if this really is the world in which you want your kids to live. Look around and ask if this system has your blessing, or if the only thing you can do is perfect in action. And within action you endorse this system so the link gets missing. What we should want is to never want for wishing, and to dream of nothing but to make our dreams our vision. And in our vision to only see a life worth living. How much do you need convincing? I don't ask you to share my dream, just to stop and listen to the war drums beat, because that drum is only your heart. It's up to you where the start ends and the end starts. But this right now could so easily be right now's past. I believe we can heal this open wound to scars, a new humanity that's built to laugh, a better definition of what we are. Together we could be the stars, if we so choose. I can't tell you what to do, but personally, I see all this potential on the world crash coursing from apathy, and I believe we must have something new. Well, what about you? Thank you, I'm the Not From Concentrate Kid. I've been your host for the evening, and it's not drawing to a close, not for a long shot. We're about to have one more poet, and then the main man Monkey is going to blow your mind on the beatboxing skills. And then we got a full band for the first time at Organised. We got a full band jamming on the open mic cypher. So if there's any rappers out there, it's your time for us to shine. Okay, so as we began the night, so we're going to end. And this is going to be from our main man, Jack the Triple!
We got more than one mic. Yeah.
Yo, Benny, how are we getting on? Right, I'd say a bit of a joke takes a bit of participation if you're up for it.
No participation!
I'm sure you all kind of understand. Knock knock!
Who's there?
It's the guy! It's the guy who dares wear no underwear. And nobody cares that he's bare naked because he's got the bare essentials. Bare skin and bare hair and no need for any other credentials. You gotta give him credit. He looks kind of consensual. But then along comes Mr. Pig with his big coat, big hat and big attitude, claiming that this bear man is being bear rude. And it all seems so screwed. Ask yourself, are your eyes askew? Think, how did your mother give birth to you? In your natural clothing. And what was wrong with that? Ain't nothing wrong with that. No, nothing at all. So don't call this man a streaker. You're Mr. Pig, so surely you got more streaks under your belt than anyone else. Bang, the door is closed, much like the conversation. But the problem is, Mr. Pig is impatient. Before he gets the chance to do one, knock knock.
Who's there?
Someone.
Someone who?
Someone who doesn't give a fuck about you. Go back to a castle in the sky where pig's eyes fly. Good riddance. Goodbye. Was hunting llamas in the Bahamas. I was caught by the farmers in my pyjamas. I was only in the mood for crude food when they turned up, acting all rude. And they didn't know what to make of it. When I took a shit and spit, I will never quit. I said literally, if you're gonna be a bitch to me, I will throw my feces at thee. And now I will be blunt. You're a bunch of cunts, so put down your front and go smoke a blunt. Turn around and take home that hound before I lay down an astounding pound. See, all I ever wanted was a meaty tea, but now they've pulled out guns, it's time for me to flee this vicinity. I made one last rash dash to steal their cash dash, but they managed to pass me a gash for a mustache. To begin I had so I could win, but now the blood's trickling thin and the dog's licking his grin. Looks like I'll be paying for my sin as the much midnight din. But I won't just take it on the chin, so I spin and start running like that Jamaican. Usain Bolt, quick as a bolt of electricity, and make it back to the city. But what a pity. I had to accept defeat and retreat with no meat to eat. Oh well, at least I'm still on my feet.
Man, they're coming out of every corner. You know, it's alright to move around a little bit. Yo. Yeah. Is that sounding alright? Do we have a second mic? You what? Girl, step in the whip, swing to the front, promise in the mood, ain't nothing to me, ain't nothing to you.
Hey, yeah man, I come around, yeah man, that sound of the gully ground. Yeah, you know what I mean when I come out, yes, that's kind of the sound. I mean, what I mean, I want to try to calm down. Every now and then it's like, what's that in my that new sound? Every now and then. Yeah. Hey. Underground, yeah, underground, but I'm not under the weather. Nah, never, never, nah, never, never. Hey. Underground, but I'm not under the weather. Never, never, nah, never, never, nah, never. Hey, hey. Underground, but I'm not under the weather. No matter what the man that I create the baby treasure. Something from nothing to make something better. The next day's a man's fate. I'm a and I'm a again and now. But then forget again. Yeah, that's what goes to make it. I should have seen the freedom of the best of the dreaming. It's getting ready, rattle plays with the graphics of scene. If the number tries to be able to start even sleeping. Marvelous is scheming. The last with the scheme. No matter how much of a darkness. Lots of things seen it. Walk up to the bars. You got to stay deep in. Entrance we have. We just to keep retrieving. We just in case of all the probably someone I'm leaving. But against the rat race. Putting on that rat race. Middle finger to the ground. I'm just not walking in the give of us will remain undiscovered. Can I read the train? But hey. Yeah, when I come around with that kind of sign. But never anymore. I see it in the background. I don't really want to be the one to have to calm down. I'm on the ain't me not to. Every now and then I come around with that kind of sign. Yeah, that's me when I play the balls. Yes, monkey, the beatbox. Every now and then it's like, yes, the beatbox. Freestyle straight up the top of the brain. Give me that spray can, that pain. I don't really want to be that. Chill now, no, I'm so. Every now and then it's like, yeah, we're dealing with floor and ooh. I don't really want to be the one to forget about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm the one who's just around. Kid, I come around. That make it kind of sound. And every now and then you might be the one to tell me to stop away there. Is that fake breath? Yeah, man, this thing is tagging up the police state, yeah. That's that standard procedure. I don't really want to stop. No, but I mean, it's like all I've got is I'm in a finger full of drops. But it'll be coming around. That is just how we've been moving. It's like way that I think I just found a brand new solution. And then look at my brain. I'm not daydreaming about solution or revolution. Fuck that man, it's about the execution of that love. Yeah, man, they graffiti the CCTV. I'll be dodging every now and then. It's like the way that I'm mislodging that authority. Because I'm good at copycasting it. Every now and then it's like give me the marketing. All comes to bastards and shit when I'm coming around. Catch me in the background, yeah, man, with that kind of sound. Then they tell me to calm down when I can't be asked. Every now and then I flat on the floor when I pass. That 37%, you know what, I mean, I really don't like it. Yeah, man, that's why I drop that shit that the hippie does that night. Who's that guy standing next to me? Yeah, man, it's Marshy Miyagi, it's Marshy Miyagi.
Hey, Marshy Miyagi, love at the party, hardly the geezer to ever calm down. Got my mates So someone please give a subject for me when I'm ring goes for your inbox board. Yeah, I'm fucking never working to the break of dawn. All like having sex when I come through like a T-Rex. My style not complex necessarily, but I'm spitting very heavy. When I've got DJ Eddie with me, with the ill delivery, or Zebedee on the drums, on the percussion, end of the discussion, they're fighting a person. Or I kill the beatbox, I like to smoke and leave these rocks. Because I'm volcano, don't hate though. Yo, I spit more words, spit the philosophy like Plato. Then we got Lottie on the sax, and I cut your act backs like heart attacks. Now come through like shoot fucking blue like a choo-choo train. When I come off the top of the plane, it's the same. Anyway, now I'm bloody and fine like this. I think I'll pass it to my man X.
Okay, then thoughts on my base, telling you no, my thoughts on my brain. Waking up nice, I'm thoughts on my game. When I take one pill, I'm thoughts on my base. I'm not gonna say no, I'm boarding again. Stop ranking my thoughts to escape. She be like, why are you talking that way? Look, it's not that way. I get laid on board of my mates. That's me, what's not here, port to the lake. You play my side, you can thought it was safe. Don't ask what, cheers, man, I'm boys to the table, it's mine. Yeah, and I'm walking away. You boys a bitch, talking this day. Couple rolls, but I better talk to you.